Hello and welcome to Yeyu Lab. In our last video, we implemented a basic web UI for a Swarm application right after the framework release from OpenAI. Now let's dive deeper into the nature of Swarm. As we know, Swarm is a lightweight framework that controls routine and handoff. And as an open platform, it does not integrate many complex promptings or logical strategies. So it is the opportunity for us to customize our advanced features into Swarm without being headache by how the framework internally works. For example, if you're wondering whether it supports RAG function, the answer is that RAG should stand at a higher layer in Swarm's architecture that can be implemented easier by the interface through further development. The function core concept of Swarm allows you to create powerful RAG-based agents that can generate content based on external documents, provide answers to human users, and deliver these answers to other agents in the workflow, which are orchestrated by your handoff designs. Meanwhile, it's also very easy to visualize the advanced RAG process in the Swarm with the help of the web UI framework, for example, the panel framework. In this video, we will create an advanced Swarm application with building a RAG agent by using LlamaIndex, more follow-up agents for complex tasks, and a web UI by using panel framework. To easily demonstrate the development, we will do it step by step. Swarm has no built-in RAG assistant or interface, but we can easily implement a RAG process by using LlamaIndex and register that process in the Swarm agent as a tool. If you have designed some document retrieval or search process for your LLM application, you must have known about the LlamaIndex, which is a very powerful framework for building context-augmented LLM applications. It provides comprehensive tools, including the data connectors for ingesting data from various sources like PDF, SQL, and external APIs. The data indexing for efficient connection of embedding and storage. The query and chat engines, which let you finally talk to your data. And evaluating and observing features for monitoring and evaluation of your application. And it provides flexible workflows to combine all these components together to bring you easy for use framework. The quickest process of a complete RAG workflow with default OpenAI GPT model needs only 5 lines of code. The 5 lines of code help you to quickly load a local PDF file in the data directory and extract the content to embedded content into an index, or we can call it vector stores in the memory, and then use the content as a query engine to let you to make query. Now let's walk through the code implementation of a RAG agent in Swarm framework. In this code, I will explicitly specify the GPT-4o for QA and the embedding model from Fireworks AI for embedding and retrieval. Here I choose Fireworks AI because it provides lower cost and equivalent higher efficiency embedding API service compared to OpenAI. Here, the cost for 1 million import tokens for embedding models smaller than 150 million is only $0.008 US. If you don't own a Fireworks account, you can easily get one or just use OpenAI embedding models as a default setting in LlamaIndex. First, we should install the LlamaIndex package, including the Fireworks embedding module and the Swarm via pipe install. Here you must make sure that the Swarm package is installed directly from the GitHub repository. Now we need to import the necessary libraries and set up the environment with your OpenAI API key and the Fireworks API key. So before creating any of the agent, we should build function of the RAG process. So the step one, we should set up the embedding model with Fireworks and the LLM model with OpenAI GPT-4o. Then we create a function create RAG index that load the local PDF file in a default data directory and create the index for retrieval. Call this function and return the RAG index in the memory, and we will use for later. Create the query engine on the top of the RAG index. This function will accept a query string and then respond with an answer based on the index of a file. So please note that here the retrieval strategy is based on the default semantic search method, but you can also apply advanced retrieval and search methods in the LlamaIndex. Move on, we will create an agent that can work with the query RAG function. So in this code, we will create agent, a triage agent, a RAG agent. The triage agent is responsible for determining whether the user's question related to a document, and if so, it will hand off the question to the RAG agent. And the RAG agent will then use the query RAG function to retrieve the document to the question. So here we defined the instructions of these two agents. We will not use the parameter of context variable in this case, but we will use it later. And then we define the handoff function that used to hand off the task to the RAG agent. Now we can define the two agents with the instructions and functions. You will see there's only one function for triage agent that's only used to hand off to the RAG agent. And for the RAG agent, there is another function query RAG for it to generate a retrieval output. The agent and task are all ready, so we can now create the main workflow of our application. So we create the client by the Swarm constructor, and in the main function, we defined a current agent with initially the triage agent and a messages list that will contain all the history messages in it. In the while loop, we will continuously take users' input and pass it with history messages to the current agent, who will be updated by each client run function depending on handoff decisions. So after each run, we will print the agent output and update the messages and current agent. Wrap up the code and we can now run it. Oh, before that, I downloaded the eBay's public annual report for 2023 and put it into the data directory to see how the agent responded to it. The document can be downloaded from internet. So let's run the code. So it firstly shows the index of the newly created document is complete and ask the user to input a question. So let's input, tell me the business performance of eBay. So you will see the RAG agent jumped out and generate the answer based on the document that provided the actual numbers listed in the document. So till now, we have successfully integrated a RAG agent into the Swarm framework. However, to fully leverage the power of combining multiple agents and RAG techniques, we will continue to add more features into it which mainly including local index storage to avoid repeatedly loading the PDF file into the index, and a more sophisticated handoff strategy to connect the RAG agent with a follow-up agent. Plus, we will provide the web UI to the entire application. Now let's see how to implement the local index storage. So LlamaIndex provides a very flexible storage toolset that can save the index into various destinations. So we can easily implement a local storage function by using the storage context and the vector store index class in the LlamaIndex. So firstly, let's including the storage content and load index into storage method. Then we rewrite the original create rag index function to the load or create rag index function. And here we update the rag index according to the new function. In this new function, we use the index storage context persistent method to save the index into a local storage directory defined by the persistent dir, which is our storage directory in this program. So if that directory does not exist, it will create the directory together with the new index of the document. And if that directory exists, so it will just use the storage context and load the index from storage to load that index from the local disk. So that will reduce a lot of time and money by repeatedly generate the index from the entire documents. With that implemented, now we will add a tweet agent to the app to generate a tweet post based on the answer generated by the RAG agent. Here's how to do it. We will define the instruction of the tweet agent first and update the context variables with a new key last response that will contain the output from the RAG agent. And we ask the tweet agent to write a tweet post using the tone of Deadpool, and also provide the content from the context variables as a background information. Also, we give additional instruction to the RAG agent to hand off to the tweet agent if the user asks for tweet generation. And we should define another handoff function that can hand off the task to the tweet agent with the context variables. For the agent definition, we add the tweet agent and provide the tweet agent instructions. We don't need to provide the function because the tweet agent will generate output purely from text generation capabilities. Here we should add another function into the function list of the RAG agent to let the RAG agent to have capability to hand off to the tweet agent. In the final step, we just need to update the run swarm app function to fill in the context variables with the last response from the RAG agent's output to ensure the tweet agent knows the background and generate the tweet post. So here we would firstly add the global variable, context variables. After the agent completed task, pass that response content to the last response of the context variables. Now we can run the new code to see all the advanced features. First, we see that the index has been loaded from the local storage because I have run this before. So in the storage directory, there are already indexes of the documents. So it just simply load that. And then I ask the same question. Tell me the business performance of eBay. So it's returned a similar answer like what we saw in the previous demo. So after the rag agent finish its job, I will ask the app to generate a tweet post about it. So the tweet agent jump out now and generate a tweet post based on the information provided by the rag agent with exactly the same numbers in the document. So the entire workflow is completed and meets our expectations. Now that both the multi-agent orchestration and advanced agent function has been implemented, let's see how to use the UI to make it more decent visualized. So we will use the source code from our last demo to continue editing on that for the UI development. So first, let's install and import the panel library. Then we should create the necessary widgets of panel, including a file input for loading the PDF file and a chat input for entering the user's question and insert them into the chat interface. So they will be presented together in the chat interface widget. And send our first message, welcome to the Rag and Swarm app. And here the chat interface is set to be inactive after the welcome message, which is used to avoid the user from sending messages to the system before the document is loaded. Now we should update the original logic in the run swarm app function to make it compatible with the callback function of the chat interface of panel. So the main logic of this function will be handled the user's input from the front end widget, including the file input and chat input. Firstly, we should change the function name and add the parameters that required by the callback handler definition. Now it's called process user message with the contents and user and instance as an input parameter. And we should move out variable to the global variable for the current agent and messages, because the function will now be returned after handling each user's input. And add these two variables. Then we need to replace the standard input with the file uploading process at the app beginning, because we want the system to accept a file first and write the file into the disk. Then we replaced standard output of the agent responses with the output caused by the UI widget, chat interface send, to make sure every response will be displayed on the UI. That's all for the callback function. And now we don't need the main function, remove it. And here we should register the process user message function to the callback function of chat interface and make it servable, meaning running the web server. And we should also replace the user input to the contents that's passed by the callback function. Okay, this code is complete. Now let's run it and see how it works. This time we should run the panel command to start the web server. Let's type panel serve. So if you see this output indicating that it's successfully running at a certain URL with the default port 5006, that means your app is running on the server. So let's visit this URL. Now in this simple web app, we have the file input and chat area input both on the bottom widget. So let's firstly upload the eBay report. Send. and the documents is showed, the system agent tell you the document has been loaded and you can now ask questions. So let's go to the chat area and input performance of eBay. The RAG agent come out, ask, generate a tweet post. The tweet agent take the job. So, okay, well done. Now it's your turn to build your own Swarm application with RAG and more advanced agentic features. That's all for today. For the tutorial and the source code, you can find the link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Keep innovating, and I'll catch you in the next one.